Given what you said yesterday about this was going to be a really complicated game, you know, all the international players and not having a lot of time to work with your players, how do you assess the performance and the result, more importantly?
Yes, feels like a massive win for us. So we went here to an unbelievably tough place, Middlesbrough, and their recent run says a lot about the size of the task. They were 8 games unbeaten, have conceded just 1 goal in the last 7 games. Neil Warnock side are always so unbelievably difficult to beat and to break. And then to travel back under this circumstances, first game after international break, especially for us, is always complicated there because so many important players were away. For example, Timo Pukki was not possible today for us, a key player, to start him today because he played 90 minutes in underload for his national team and before 2 games anyhow, traveled back without sleeping, arrived back in Norwich on Thursday. Yesterday we had to travel again, was not possible to start him today. And the circumstances are difficult, because we had a small group just to train during these 2 weeks, and also our injury situation is not the best. And in these circumstances, to travel back from such a tough away ground with a win with 3 points, with a clean sheet win, feels big, and many compliments to the players.
Obviously, their penalty, very bizarre how it played out, that episode. Have you ever experienced that as a coach against one of your sides? In terms of the score, it was obviously scores and then it's disallowed because he's a double movement.
Yes, we're playing football in bizarre times anyhow, so a away win in a full stadium would have felt massive anyhow. We had home games with late goals anyhow, and no one can... Actually, the stadium would explode in such a situation. Right now it feels a bit like, even today, like, okay, it was a tactical game, a solid game anyhow, and we keep going. So yeah, we're playing in bizarre time, and penalty was also a bit strange, if I'm honest. I've watched just shortly back the 2 scenes. I think both penalties were a bit unnecessary, because in both situations the offensive player was a bit on the escape away from the goal. Their player, but also Max, anyhow, was a bit unnecessary. But I think both penalties were fair to be rewarded anyhow. So because it was a bit clumsy behavior, and I think there were 2 penalties. Yeah, thank God they were not able to use their situation. Timo Pukki had kept his cool and finished and really ice cold, and was of course important then for us.
Neil Warnock's just been in. He's very, very unhappy that there wasn't a second yellow for Jakob Sorensen in the body check towards the end of the game, having already been booked. What would you take beyond that?
No, everyone is allowed to have his view. I think Jacob is one of the fairest player on this planet, and in this situation he was booked for a yellow card in the first half. I think it was doubtful. It was his first foul, and his second foul in the game was in the 89th minute. Also, was a bit doubtful if it was a foul. I would have given a free kick as well, but for me, no bad intention, not a tactical foul, not like with a straight leg. Was a normal duel. I don't think it's a yellow red card, but it's also Neil is so experienced. He's allowed to ask for whatever he wants. I love this guy, and for that no problem. So as an opponent's coach, perhaps he would have judged a scene in a different way, but for me it was also not a key scene of the game, because we were in lead. It was in I think already in added time, so even if we would have gone down to 10 lads anyhow, we would have won this game, I'm pretty sure. But I think it was not a yellow-red card, but everyone is allowed to have his own opinion.
You know what it takes to get out of this division. You did it 2 years ago. Is a win like that in that circumstance, because you haven't probably played as fluently as you have done this season, yet you still got the win against a very hard side. 1 goal conceded in 74 today. And those are the type of wins you might look back on and say, that's, if we're going to get to where we need to go to, they're the sort of days you need to grind out a result.
Yes, it feels like a massive win, and it is a massive win. There's no doubt about this, and exactly in this games you have to be spot on. We had several of these games against opponents who are in a good position in the table. Like Swansea, they were on the runner-up position last time we played them, or Millwall in the top 6, and many games away at Bristol, and who are still in the top position in this league, and were able to stay even after this game unbeaten and stay unbeaten and have also won many of this game. So it's definitely good. It's good for the mood, it's good for the confidence, it's good for the table. But again, the position on the table after 12 games is we are not too addicted to it. It's not the most important topic. The only topic that counts is where you are after 46 games. And for that, I'm especially happy with the proper amount of points that we have, and pretty pleased and happy with this. And this is the most important topic, but it feels like a massive win. Yes.
final one, if I can, just for me. No Tom Campbell today. Daniel, could you just clarify why he wasn't in the 20?
Yes, we had yesterday after our press conference where I said, okay, he was able to train the whole week, our last session, and in the last scene of the session, he felt something in his hip. It's a bit unlucky with him because it was more or less his third time within the last 4 games that in the last session before a game he felt in the last situation of the training session something. It's bad luck for him or whatever. So it's more like. Yeah, since 4 or 5 weeks he was not able to have a complete training week, so it's of course annoying for him. Anyhow, it's also annoying to get him back in this rhythm because he needs rhythm. He needs rhythm on the training pitch, and yeah, we have to assess it a little bit. So I'm not sure how bad it was because in the last situation of the training we had to catch a flight. It was just feedback then that he couldn't travel with us and couldn't play and was not available. So for that, sadly, we had to travel without him.
In this sequence of games before Christmas, so many games, are you doing anything differently, or how are you trying to manage it?
Yes. Meanwhile, we have so much experience also on this level. Yeah, and the championship is the toughest league in the world. So the Premier League will be the best league in the world, but the toughest league in the world is definitely the championship. And we are used to it. We know that we have to deliver all 3 days. You have to be careful, you have to rotate a little bit. That's also what we did, for example, in the last game before the international break, to left players like Lucas Rupp, like Ben Gibson out in order not to risk any injury. The same with Timo Pukki today. I think it's important to share the load, and you need a bit depth in the squad. We are hit by a few injuries at the moment, so that's a bit unlucky, but yeah, we have to keep going. And the most important thing is also the mentality. Yeah? If you always speak about, oh, we are so tired, then you also feel tired. So it's important not to mention it that much. Also tell the lads, no, they will be fine, and then they believe you. So it's also important to have the right mentality in the dressing room.
But you have 5 away games. This is the first of 5 before Christmas. So it's that's a lot to manage as well. Are you doing anything differently for that, for travel or anything?
No, you just have to accept the situation how it is. So it feels really strange. I've mentioned in my last press conference, I'm not sure why we sent our national team players into high risk areas. Yeah, we are all not allowed sometimes to see the families and friends, and we sent our best players who should cheer us up anyhow in terms of football during this crazy sides into friendlies. No one is really interested in these friendlies, and into high risk areas. Timo Pukki had to travel 2 times more or less in a row for the national team, comes back, travel back from Finland. They played him well, so he just had to travel back from Wales to Norwich. Then the next day up to Middlesbrough. Right now we travel back to Norwich, and next day we travel then up to Stoke. So it feels a bit unlucky at times anyhow, but I don't want to complain. It's more or less for each and every team tricky, and we just have to find some smart solutions in each and every situation.